So here we are in the first person view of the lander, once again paused. Uh, you can just barely make out the landing pad down here through the window. And I'll quickly go over the elements that are here in front of us. On the top left, we have a camera, which is, or rather, a view from a camera, which is fixed on the exterior of the ship, pointing directly down towards the thruster. This will be important for when we come in for our final landing because you can't look straight down without the assistance of a camera. Beneath it, we have a output, or rather, a display for the inputs that are currently being fed to the THC and RHC. These are only relevant when playing in virtual reality. And right here, we have the same ADI as we had in the third person view, but presented on this panel. So you need to turn your head using right click to look at it. But otherwise, it is the same, and all the controls are the same as they were in the third person view. Just a little bit more challenging because it is harder to see where you're going for the most part. But I'm going to unpause and take a crack at doing what we did before. So once again, I'm pressing H to activate the main burner and bring our trajectory towards the landing. Once I have it roughly in position, I'm going to start pressing down to pitch the craft, and also going to periodically tap H once again to prevent us from falling too quickly. So I am coming in a little bit too hot. You can see this small green indicator is basically our retrograde vector, which you can see that since this is lined up with our view, we're actually drifting backwards. You can see the landing site in front of us. So here I'm going to pause real quick. We've overshot the landing site by a good amount. So what I'm going to do is pitch the aircraft so that our thruster will push us towards the landing site a little bit. And I'll do that by pressing down on the keyboard again. Sorry, by pressing up actually, and pressing H periodically. Just going to stop our lateral movement, which I've done for the most part. Here I'm going to start holding down the I key to push us forward using our external thrusters. So this is actually, I would say this is already a fairly inefficient landing. Ideally, you want to do as few burns as possible. You can see that we're drifting forward now, and our trajectory is appearing in front of us. And I'm still holding I to push us forward. So pausing once again, I can see that our heading is the wrong direction. So if I keep going forward, we're going to miss the landing site. So what I can do now is instead of pressing I can switch to pressing J, and that'll start moving our trajectory to the left. So still periodically pressing H just to maintain our altitude. I'm going to start holding down K to reduce the lateral velocity again, and I'm also going to fix our orientation by pressing down on the keyboard. So still holding K to bring us backwards again. I believe I overshot the landing pad again, so we're going to come back once more. Adjusting our yaw a little bit using the left and right arrow keys so that I'm just lined up with the horizon. Okay, so we're once again drifting backwards. I'm going to try and use the camera to tell when we are on top of the landing pad. This is where you can see the difficulty of doing this in first person comes from. It can be hard to tell where you are precisely in relation to the landing pad. But I think we are moving in the right direction. So I just glimpsed the landing pad over there on the left. So using IJKL, pressing I will move us forward on the camera, and J will move us left. So I need to go up and to the left, I believe. So the red line is appearing, which means that we are pretty much falling straight down. So still going up and to the left by pressing I and J. Our goal is to land roughly in the middle of those red lights, still periodically tapping H to maintain our altitude. I think I went a little bit too high there, so we'll come down just about lined up where we should be. So we're just going to decelerate slightly and come in as softly as possible. And we should get a score here in a moment. It can be difficult to tell how close you are to the ground from the first person view. So let's see how well we did. And a landing score of 45%. So you can see I did a little bit worse than the third person view, but as I said, this is more challenging. If you can get a high score in the first person view, I would be very impressed. So please give it a shot if you're able to.